Hello and welcome to Judy's Creations in Crochet. And today is March the 2nd, 2023. And March the 2nd means that yesterday I had another video for you. I hope you caught that video, the beginning of the month, where I reveal the flower of the month for the next cow. And the flower this month is daffodil. So if you didn't catch that video, be sure to go back and look for it and see the colors in the picture to make something for this month. And I want to remind you, I didn't say it yesterday, but you're free to make anything you wish, and you don't just have to crochet. Yes, I'm all about crochet, and that's what most of you do. But if you knit, or if you weave, or do some other fiber art, any of those are fine. I have a little friend here who's looking at jumping up in my lap. You gonna come for a visit? Maybe he will, maybe he won't. um, anyway, I hope you caught that video yesterday, and I hope you're going to join us this month in creating something that you can send me the picture of, and I can show it to the rest of my viewers. I had 16 of you participate in last month, and I was very, very happy about that. So hang on just a second. I don't want you to lay on my sweater. I had something sitting there and I don't want him to lay on it. So, what's in store for today? Well, first of all, beginning of March. So, Kiki had to drop by and wish you happy March, luck of the Irish. This is the month for St. Patty's Day. And for those of you that are fairly new here and you wonder what's going on, Kiki is a little gray striped kitty cat, and I happen to have two gray kitty cats, and so she's my mascot. Come on over. Is he gonna come over? Here he is. Yes. Say hello to everybody. Yes. You can hear him purring, I think. He has a very loud purr. Anyhow, Kiki is my little mascot, and I have made what's called a lovey for her for every month. And I'm not into amigurumi, so like Rose on Rose Likes Crochet, I like to make loveys, little skirts, I call them, or blankets to go on them. Now, this is the only one I tried to follow a pattern to make like a star-shaped one. It's star-shaped. But there is a pattern on Zelda NRJ3. She gives a pattern to do a granny square type blanket, and I have done a couple of those. And I tend to, for Kiki's, I tend to make the circular ones. I really like them best of all. But anyway, every month she stops in to say hello and show us her latest outfit. And we've been through the whole year now, so some of you are seeing a repeat. I'm going to put her up here out of my way where she sits and watches what's going on. All right, so first I want to show you finished objects, and yay! This week I have a number of finished objects. Now we're going to start with what I'm wearing. I did not make this week. I would have shown you this more than a year ago. This is an asymmetrical triangle, starts out at this narrow point and gets wider at the end. I'm pretty sure the one I'm wearing is the one called Stepping Stones by Rachie Nguyen. I will put a link to her pattern down below. And I used a gradient cake. It is merino, might be merino and nylon, but I think it's 100% merino. Um, and I don't know where I got the yarn. It might have been a company called Apple something, I'm not sure. But I can put a link to the pattern below. It's a very easy pattern and I enjoyed making it. In fact, I made two of them at the time. The other one had really bright greens at one end and went into red. So that's what I'm wearing. But finished objects, I'm so excited. Now, mind you, these are all small. I made them in children's sizes mostly. I'm going to start with, I think I would have shown you this ear warmer that I made quite a while ago. And this past week, I made a scarf to go with it. And here is the scarf. Nothing special. In the end, I asked for suggestions and I did follow somebody's idea and I got going, and it had a stitch that used a lot of yarn and it was getting very thick and heavy, and I realized I was not going to have enough yarn to finish it. So I pulled it all back out, and since this was just plain double crochet, I decided to make this plain double crochet, which it wasn't what I wanted to make, but I dress it up a teeny bit by putting a little bit of light fringe on the end. And I think I showed you the yarn, which was Universe from Hobby. It's a sparkly yarn. I don't know if you could see that sparkle. Oh yeah, I think so. And I used all of it, but this much. So that's one completed item, a scarf to go with the headband. These items are all going to go in my, no, you don't need to be up on the table. I got too much yarn up there. These are all going to be in my donation box that is going out later this month. The next thing I made, since this breakfast program that we're making this for has, they have 180 people every Saturday for breakfast. They have a lot of children as well. So I thought, I've never made children's items. So first I made this poncho. You can see it's quite small. I couldn't even get my head through the opening. It probably will fit a very, very young child. And you may recognize the color. It is from a mandala in the color Spirit. Most of you are familiar with mandala cakes from Lion Brand. And I had this little bit on the outside left over. So that worked out well. And then finally, and this, by the way, is a pattern from Crystal. I think it's maybe one of her newest ones, I'm not sure. And surprise, surprise, it actually has posts in it. At that point, I stopped and just finished it off plain. I was tired of posts. You know, I don't care for posts too much. And then finally, I made another poncho, and I was following a pattern from Creative Grandma. I don't think it's a real new one. And here it is. And that one looks to me to be about a size 8. I'm judging by what Creative Grandma said. She gave instructions for this one for size 6, 8, and 10. And I used the measurements for a size 10. So I think that might be a size 8. Anyway, Creative Grandma's was very bright and colorful as well. And she used the Twizzle fringe, and I started to do it. I've done it before, but I thought, this is going to take me forever and I need to get it done, and it's going to take a huge amount of yarn as well. So after doing about 6 or 7 of them, I took them out and I just put normal fringe on the bottom. Now, I did it a little different than Creative Grandma. I used the stitch she was using, but she made 4 squares and she put them together with a square on the point, front and back, and then across the shoulders for the other 2 squares. And I said, well, that's a lot of seaming, and seaming isn't my favorite thing to do. So I made the 2 squares together. So I have a seam here, and then I have a long rectangle here, and then here's the other seam, and I have a long rectangle here. And I've shown you before how to take the 2 rectangles, and if they're long this way, you put this end here, and then you take the other end here. And once you get them together, you have the 2 long pieces that turn into a poncho. And I was using Picasso. Everybody's using Picasso these days, and I thought, I've never used it. I ordered a bunch, so I want to try it out. And this is one of the rainbows, not the most popular rainbow. It's the second rainbow. I don't have the color number with me, but it used 3 of these donuts for the actual poncho, and then there was a little left over, so that plus part of this donut made the fringe. So about 3.5. Definitely you'd only need 4 of these to make this child's size 10 poncho. So I'm quite happy to get those things done. So they are going to go in the donation box, and that's probably all I'm going to get done this month. My girlfriend is still making a couple of items, and we will take it the middle of the month over to the church. So that's finished objects. Now, I think the next thing we will do is jump into our final Ravelry tutorial. Hopefully I will wrap everything up, but if you have more questions after I'm done today, please feel free to comment in the description box below, or to send me an email with further questions. But it seems that everybody is getting something from this. And once again today, I have some extra news about a group I've created. I'll talk about that in a few minutes, and I hope that you will participate in that. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to have to shift over to the side because we're going to do it the way I started the first week, and I got to get over, and I don't want to run over a kitty cat laying there. So here we are on Ravelry, and I'm never sure how well you can see this if I'm up close enough, but I'm just on what I call the home page, and you see today there are new items here. I went and looked at them, and I'm interested in both of them. It's always good to look at that home page where patterns are. Now, something I neglected to mention last week, so I'm going to go up here to my notebook. Hello, my notebook, and it gives us this drop down menu. And once more, before we move on, I'm going to go into the library, because what I neglected to tell you last week, this is a really nice library, but what on earth is that good for? Well, it shows me what I've purchased, and I'm going to pick this pattern and just show you that if you tap on it, it opens up. See, and it tells me that I've purchased it. It's possible to put something in your library without purchasing, but not too sure why you'd do that. But anyway, when you tap on it, it opens it up. You can look at the pattern page again, but the most important thing is you hit download. And if it comes in several languages, you'll have the choice to pick the language of your choice and guess. And you see, it has opened it up. And if I were to scroll, you would see the pattern. And there's a chart with this pattern, and it shows you how to lay it out and crisscross it and all the rest of it. And it also has, get back here, in the corner, just disappeared, open in. So you don't have to leave it sitting there. You can open it in some other program or app that you have on your device. I tend to open my patterns in my PDF file. I happen to open it in Adobe Reader, and I keep all of my patterns in Adobe Reader. Because remember, I get patterns from Ravelry, from Etsy, from EFA, from Karen Hooley, and of course all the free companies like Lion Brand, Yarnspiration, Red Heart, all of those. And I download the PDF into Adobe Reader, and then I have them all together. I can compare them and so on. So I just wanted to show that. Now let's go back and go back. Okay, so I'm going to open my notebook again, and this time I'm going into projects. Now we've talked about projects several times, and you will see now that the February cal, before it just had the picture of violets, but after I showed my patterns that I finished, I put the one here. I will the other one I showed you is a CJ Brady pattern, and it's in here on a separate page. But anyway, there is the February page showing everything completed now. And it's important, it really is important for a couple of reasons that you make project pages. And I can't stress this enough. The first one is that by creating a project page, you, let's see if I can go back. No. All right, this is a YouTube pattern by Crystal, so of course it won't be in Ravelry. But you know that when people have patterns that they are selling on Ravelry, there is a place to the side where you can go and check the projects that have been done. And I think it is very helpful to them and to you, the purchaser, to see what other people have done. So that's one big reason to have a project page. I'm going to show you another important reason in a few minutes. So we're going to finish with my notebook. I think I've said enough about it for now. The other thing people have said they want to know more about is the community tab. Notice these up top. And again, I'm not going to take my glasses off. I'm not going to go into every one of these. I'm not an expert on most of them, but I know something about community. So if you hit community, you can go into, it helps if you, you can go into forums, messages, people, you can find people. If people message you, they're there, but it will highlight up here at the envelope that you have a message. You can find friends, but here's where I want you to look at, and that's groups. For those that are following along, you go into groups. And when you get to groups, you'll see that I'm a member of these 4 groups. Here are different groups you can join. And there's groups about everything. A lot of patterns that do a crochet along or a knit along will have a group here. I formed a group on the weekend, and there it is. You can find me here. Looks just like my YouTube channel logo, and I stuck with the same name on purpose, Judy's Creations in Crochet. Now I'm going to go back to the top and show you if you go into this group. Well, already I, of course, formed the group, so I'm there. There are several other people who've already joined into my group. And the first one, there's Deb, who is a viewer of my YouTube channel, has been for a while. And then so is it says Babs. Her name is Barbara. She's a YouTube viewer as well. And then these other two joined last night, and I'm not sure if I know them or not. People use you know, an alias, and so you're never sure who they are. But when you open it, you see that there is this cal. 2023 cal, and it's about the monthly flowers. So if you click that on, it will open up to a thread, and I can create other threads where we can go and chat about things if you want. But I just did the one for the cow right now, and I already put in the January one. And if you wanted to respond or comment on one of these listings, see down here, you can say you like it. You can disagree or agree. I don't know why you do that. Say it's interesting. You can comment on this entry that I have made. Oh, here it is. Over here, the three dots. You hit the three dots and you can, well, reply. In other words, comment. You could say, oh, I love your shawl, Judy. And so you hit reply, a box comes up, and it'll say that you are replying to my comment, which is number 1. It'll show that in the box where you comment. Now, I can, because this is my page and I'm on my own page, I can edit or delete. You can't. But just so you know, you can reply to this particular comment. All right, to this comment. Now, I don't want to make a comment here, so go away. Now, okay, we went away again. You got to be careful what you hit here. But anyway, we'll do it again. Okay, so here we are back again. Now, every month, at the end of the month, probably, well, I might do it at the first of the month, I'll see. But at the end of the month for sure, I am going to put that month. So right now, I'm ready to put the February inspiration picture and the items that I made. So let's go down here, and if you want to make a comment, insert your own. Like if somebody wanted to insert their January one now, they could. But up at the top, you'll see reply to thread. That means you want to comment or post in this particular group. So I'm going to put reply to thread. And a box comes up down here. Now I want to show you how you use this. I'm going to say, same as I did, the January flower. Okay, I don't know how well you'll be able to see. The February flower is violet. Violets. Then I'm going to make a little space. And now I want to add a picture. And here's where it's very important that you have a project page. So this icon over here by the, not the quotes, but next to it, if I hit it, okay, it gives me a choice of ways to insert an image. And you can use an image from the web. You can enter a link to an image, and you can also do links to Flickr, Instagram, or Etsy pages. But I'll tell you right now, if you use something outside of Ravelry, you have to pay a subscription of $5 a year. Well, I don't care to do that. So, but you can use a project or stash photo. So you can also upload from your iPad and so on. But all of those cost. But if you use a project or stash photo, which I'm going to click, it goes to your project page. And how am I going to get the, oh, okay. And I'll keep going along until I get to the violets. There it is, violets. And then it says, use this, no charge if it's already on Ravelry. Use this photo. And there's the code for the photo. Now, okay, let's go to the end. Now I'm going to say, here is my finished object. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to insert a picture. And again, I'm going to use a project. Can you see what I'm doing here? I'm going to use a project from my project or stash. And there you see the finished picture right there. And remember, I did two. I guess I got to do one at a time. Use this photo. And then I'm going to return. And I'm going to put another picture in. Use a project from my stash. And there's the other finished one. And I'm going to use that photo. So, I may want to put some other notes in this, but for right now, I'm just going to leave it. I think I'll go back later when it's a little easier to get in there. I can always edit it later and put the names of the patterns. But right now, I'm going to post reply. It's called replying to the thread. So there you see it. There is my comment about violets, and these are my finished objects, both showing. Done. Now I can always hit this 3 dots and see I can edit it. So I can go back and put the names of those in there at a later date. Now, for you, if you hit the 3 dots, you can reply to this actual post. Get out of there. And this is now, see, I made post 1, and if I were to reply to it, it would say down at the bottom, replying to Judy's Creations 21, post number 1. Or if I were to reply to this, it would say replying to Judy's Creations 21, post number 2. All right. So you hit the 3 dots, and then of course you can't get rid of them. You hit the 3 dots in the bottom of the box if you want to comment on that picture or comment that I made. If you want to add your own post, you go to the top, and it's usually at the top of the page, reply to thread, or yes, see here at the very bottom, at any time, no matter where you are, when you're looking at pictures, you can hit reply to thread. Can you see that? Reply to thread. And that allows you to make your own post. And you can say anything you want. And you can add pictures by using that little icon that I showed you. And I have set this up because I'm hoping that people who sent me pictures will post their pictures here, as well as sending to me an email. And I hope people that maybe made one but didn't get it done in time, or came along after the month was over and wanted to do something, you can still post it here. Or maybe you didn't want to send it to me, but maybe you will post it here. So this is the group, and you can come in and comment on others. I do get comments at the end of the video after I do the slideshow of everybody's work. I do get comments from people, and some people see and read the comments, others don't. So this way, if you're posting them here and you see something you like, you can go right to that person's picture or post and comment and tell them how much you like what they have done. Now, I'm hoping that some of those people that sent me pictures that I showed yesterday will come in here to Ravelry and post their pictures so everybody can see them and comment on them. And that's how you use the group. Now, one other quick thing, in community, I can go to forums. And because I've set up this page, you see I'm also down here, Judy's Creations and Crochet, because I'm in the group. You have to be in the group for it to show up here. But for example, I'm in Expression Fiber Arts, and they have a year-long mystery knit-along and a winter cal and a year-long mystery cal, and so on, going on, that you can follow. So if I went into, say, the year-long mystery cal, it would open up and it tells you I haven't seen much. This is the beginning of it. It's called Multivalence, and there are people that have done it. There's somebody showing the yarn they're going to use. Lots of comments, and I've seen up to page 37, but they're up to page 41. They haven't received the clue for March yet. So far, they've only got the clue for February. It started in February, so there's only that much available so far. But there are people that have done it, and they're following along the colors that Expression Fiber Arts have suggested, that this color. But some people are doing their own colors. But you can get involved in any kind of group you want. There are groups for your area. There are groups for all kinds of other things. If you're into knitting and you follow Wes Knits, there is a cal he's doing right now. There's all kinds, and that's how you would use the community section. And I'm hoping some of you will join the group, and even if you never show us anything, if you comment on some people's postings, it's nice when people make things if they hear some appreciation from others. So I'm hoping that you will follow along. You don't need to see my notifications. So I think that's all I'm going to say about community. I've talked enough on Ravelry to keep us all busy for quite a long time. So I hope that you found the Ravelry tutorials really worthwhile, and hope you learned something. I have had people tell me they've learned things, and I hope you'll go in and play with the various things that I have shown you and feel more comfortable with it. And again, feel free to ask. If I can answer it, I will. Or maybe somebody else in the group, in our group, will be able to answer your question. Okay, so we're all done with that. So we've come to the point of the video where I like to show an acquisition. And like I said, I have lots of acquisitions sitting on this table. So I'm going to show something I heard a lot of other people online talking about. And that is yarn that I got from a company in Denmark, I believe, called Holst Garn. Let me I'll pull out a cake. I don't know how well you can read it, but Holst Garn. Now, They have several different lines of yarn. I want to tell you right now, they deal mostly in wool. So this, for example, is 100% wool, and it says some other stuff that's not English. And it's a 50-gram ball, and it has 287 meters or 314 yards. And this color is called thistledown. Okay. This is not soft. It feels like wool. It has that wool feeling. But they have different ones. This is called super soft. And all these, I got 2 of each color, so I'll only show you 1 of each. Then I got this color called hyacinth. And those were the super soft. That's the base. Not soft in my mind, but I had hoped they would be. The next one I got is called Noble. That's the base name, and the color is Pansy. And this one is 95% Geelong wool and 5% cashmere wool. It definitely is softer than the last one, and I got it because it said cashmere. But I suppose you could wear a scarf next to your skin in this, but it's still not what I would call soft. And this time 50 grams has 333 meters or 364 yards. A little bit longer, a little bit softer than the super soft. So that's Noble. And that color is Pansy. And again, I bought 2 of everything just thinking it would make enough to make something. And the next one is called Coast. About the same. This might be a tad bit softer. And this is 55% lamb's wool and 40% cotton. Oh, 45% cotton. And it has 350 meters, 383 yards, a little bit more than the others. And the color of this is passion flower. I've got 2 of those. And then the last one, I wanted to try different bases so I would know the feel of it. And this last one is called Tides. And the color is iris. Notice I got all shades of purple. I was trying to find a certain purple to go with what I'll show you in a minute so you'll understand. This is 70% wool and 30% silk. Wow, this one feels worse than the last 2. Not quite as bad as super soft, but almost. And it's 70% wool, 30% silk. It has 287 meters or 314 yards. Color iris. Now, what people were saying about it, these cakes, I don't remember the exact price. I ordered this quite a while ago, but my memory is that, you know, you're getting 300 or so yards for something like $3.57 or $3.79 or some $3 and something. US prices, by the way. It would be more to us in Canada. But I only ordered little ones because I was looking for what I might like. And they have, like, you see how many purples, they have that many greens and that many blues and red. They're all pretty solid, although to me, they have what I call a heathered look. And they come in 2 sizes. This size, which is about 300 and some yards, or they come in a big cone over 3,000 meters. 3,000 and some meters, which is 10 times the size, but they are not 10 times the price. I'm trying to remember what the prices were. Maybe in the $20 to $30 range for a cone. Wow, a cone of 3,000 yards. That's like getting, you know, the 100 gram skeins. They're around 400. So that's like getting 7 or 8 of those. 7 or 8 of those for the price of one skein, $30. I don't remember the exact numbers. So I thought, well, let's try this out. Then I could get a big cone because a lot of people were using them to make sweaters. And I thought I really want to make some sweaters in some nice quality yarn and in some pretty colors. And these are gorgeous colors. And if you buy a cone, you don't have all these ends that you have to keep putting in a cone. Could probably make you 2 sweaters. Anyway, these are not terribly soft, and I was kind of warned that they feel like wool. But I was also told that they also have something else. By the way, what's the weight of these? It doesn't say on here, but I would say they are about a fingering weight. They might be a little thinner than some of my fingering weights. But they have another yarn called Titicaca. And this, now this is soft. And they have them in the same colorways a little bit. They tell you which ones match up. So this one matches this. Put it where the lights. It may not be 100% match, but I don't care. If it's close, that's good. Does it come close to this one? See, on a screen, no, it's closer to this one. On a screen, it's really, really hard to tell which color is exact. So let me tell you, I got 4 colors in this. Let me tell you a little about Titicaca. It is 100% pure thin alpaca. 100% alpaca, 50 grams, and it has 400 meters, which is your typical, you know, 400 meters, 437. But see how it's even finer. Let me get a strand of this out. It's finer and softer. But if you put those two together, I can't get them close enough to show you. It's not going to be all that thick. There they are, 2 together. And it will soften this up. So I have in this color, 383 yards of this. I have more of this because I bought 2 and it's bigger. So I can make a really nice shawl or asymmetrical triangle or something. It's not enough. It's under 800, definitely not enough to make me a top. If I decide I want to, I'll have to order more. But that's the order I made, and I'll show you the other colors I got of Titicaca. I got 2 of this color I just showed you, which is what color? I don't see a name of the color. Oh, Lupine, FRV Lupine. Then I got this one. Oh, these are all Serenity. This is darker, and it isn't going to match any of the colors that I bought. That's okay. I'll talk about that in a minute. I got 2 of those. Oh, I only got 3, just to see if I could match something. And the third color I got is called Blossom. Now, I really like this color, and so I'm going to go back maybe and find out what color it matches in this size. Either that, or I'll just put the 2 of these together to make a thickness I can work with. It's heavenly soft. It's 400 meters, so that will make a sizable a one skein scarf from CJ Brady or something like this. I really love the color of that. But what am I going to do with all these others that don't feel so nice? Well, I have a fair bit, I've shown you this before, of Diablo from Hobby or Hobie. And they are meant to go, they are a mohair nylon acrylic blend. Or I even have skeins of different colors of kid mohair silk. And I can put a skein of, a strand of this with a strand of this, and it'll soften it up. And I can even go back to Hobie and try to match up these colors, because they have a lot of colors in Diablo, something like 40 colors or thereabouts. And I can try to match these up and see if I can find something that won't detract from the color, but I don't mind this color, the white, with them as well. So I will make use of these, not by themselves. They don't feel all that nice. And I got it to try it out because there were a lot of other creators using this. The one I really noticed using this a lot is Candy, Blue-Eyed Style. She's making a lot of sweaters. She's become a prolific knitter since she's learned to knit, and she still crochets too. And she was using the big cones of these to make sweaters. So I wanted to see what it was all about. So that's what I wanted to show you this week, and that's enough of my blabbing on about the yarn. So finally, I just want to tell you that I am working on something. Talk about whips. This is not only a work in progress now, but this came out of my whip. Oops, my hook was caught. Of course, I have my little bag here now ready to work on my March item. I'm not sure what the one is going to be, but I'll start soon. But I went and got out a whip. I'm in a group that the cal for the first 3 months of the year is to do as many whips as we can. So here is a whip I'm working on. I showed you this a little while back. It's a top I am making. It's quite heavy, heavier than I thought it would be. And I'm making it from Pima cotton, Lion Brand's Pima cotton. And I am going to finish this weekend, and I'm hoping it's a little warm, but it'll be fine for the winter. I have lots of other Pima cotton. I'm not going to rush into making anything more when I know how heavy it is, but I'm hoping once I get this made properly, I'll be able to use this a bit as a pattern or a guideline for future sweaters. And while we're talking about sweaters, in case you didn't know it, EFA issued and there's my letter hook. They brought out a free sweater pattern for crocheters last Friday. So if you don't follow them, go now and check out their site and get that free pattern. It's a very basic pattern. It looks like it will be easy to follow. And I'm going to use it to make a lot of sweaters because I have a lot of sweater quantity yarns here. So that's what I'm working on, and hopefully will be a finished object for next week. And what about next week? Well, next week I have decided I'm going to do a number of things, but the one thing for sure I'm going to do is my second review of EFA yarn, Expression Fiber Arts. If you saw my video last week, I did a second item for the February cal, and it was using the pearlescent fingering. So I decided I have a lot of items where I have used pearlescent fingering, and since I just finished using it, I thought perfect time now to do a review of pearlescent fingering and pearlescent worsted. They're the same yarn, just one is thicker than the other, and I'm going to do a review on that next week. And I am planning a bunch of destashing, and I'm going to destash yarn, which I will be selling or doing something with later in the spring. And I'm also destashing my stash of finished objects. So I'm starting by destashing a number of my fashion scarves, and I thought I would try something different. So check in next week. I think I'm going to do a silent auction. So if that interests you, you might want to check out my video next week. So until then, happy hooking.